3 days ago, Elon Musk was on a podcast and he made this statement. He says the government is basically unfixable. But at the end of the day, if you look at our national debt, if AI and robots don't solve our national debt, we're toast. That's his quote, we're toast. I don't care what you think of Elon Musk. Don't blow up my comment section with your opinion, good, bad, or indifferent. The point is, there's no wonder he's working on getting humans to Mars. Yesterday, we get, late in the day, the U.S. deficit updated numbers for August. Now, the zero hedge U.S. deficit explodes in August despite rising tariff revenues as the government spending soars. I'm going to share the statistics with you, and they should be extremely concerning to all of us. And we talk about the reset. You hear this all the time. What's going to happen? How are they going to reset the system? How are they ever going to pay off the debt? They're not. But what does that reset really look like? And if you listen to what Elon Musk is saying, is it's going to go through AI and robots. I want to break this down a bit more and get your thoughts and comments. And by the way, this comes on the heels of Wall Street Journal reporting today that deaths in the United States now forecast to exceed births in 2031, 2 years faster than thought. U.S. population growth will slow to a crawl over the next few decades as fertility rates decline. So that's going to compound the problem. Before I jump into the story, please subscribe to the channel, guys. If you're not subscribed, so we can keep growing the community. I really do appreciate it. So the article out of Zero Hedge yesterday, latest Treasury income statement for month of August. For the fifth month, it says the U.S. government benefited from outsized tariff revenues, which has shown, and they put a chart up, continued to rise in August, hit just under $30 billion, or about $360 billion annualized at the existing tariff rate. It says, but while the tariff revenue in June was sufficient to tip the overall Treasury budget into a very rare surplus, July proved to be too great an obstacle, and August was just a full-blown return to the disastrous drunken sailor spending ways of old. According to the latest monthly Treasury statement in August, the U.S. government spent $689 billion, up 0.4% from the $686.6 billion 1 year ago, and the highest monthly spending total of fiscal 2025, which ends next month. It says, combining the latest receipts and spending data, we get an August deficit, August alone, of $345 billion, a substantial deterioration from the $291 billion deficit in July, and the highest monthly deficit of the year. It was also, listen to this, the second worst August deficit in U.S. history. The combined deficit hit $1.974 trillion, up 4% from a year ago. That means that with just 1 month to go, that 2025 is shaping up as the third worst year in U.S. history for the budget deficit, only behind 2 years, if you guess it, 20 and 21, which were, of course, the pandemic years, when there were no receipts coming in because everybody was locked in their houses and the government was having to spend and dole out money to people. The epic disaster, and here's really the kicker, the epic disaster that is U.S. gross, let me give it the proper context or tone. The epic disaster, it says, is the U.S. gross interest spending continues to rise, right? How much the United States government spends every year just to service the interest on the debt, not pay down the principal. In August, the U.S. spent $111.5 billion on interest, pushing the total for the 11 months of the fiscal year to $1,124,000,000. $1.124 trillion just on interest. And it's on pace to surpass $1.2 trillion for the full year. So the total debt, it says, is now rising $1 trillion every 100 days. It means the interest will keep going up, and unless revenue grows in line, we'll reach a point where every taxed dollar goes to pay down U.S. debt. As it stands right now, 23% of all government tax revenues just go to service the interest on the debt. And that's just shy of the non-wartime record high. Gross interest remains the second highest spending category for the U.S. It's well above defense, income security, and health spending, and only Social Security remains a larger outlay category. So going back to the comment from Elon Musk that we are toast, it's unfixable unless AI and robots can somehow fix it. Okay, so what does that mean? I threw a search out and it comes back and says the expectation would be truly if AI and robots started, taking a much greater share of producing income, revenues, tax basis, GDP contribution in this country, what would it look like? Productivity gains, automation could drastically cut labor costs, boost efficiency, and increase GDP growth, which expands the tax base. I want to read these four categories to you, and I'm going to tell you what it means for us, okay? All right? It's not good because all of this is only possible at the expense of workers, at the expense of employees, right? Those that contribute to GDP and the tax base right now. So what happens to us, right? Again, going back to the whole, spaceship to Mars concept here. So the expectation is that the robots and automation would replace so many human positions that it would drastically cut labor costs and would boost efficiency and increase GDP growth. Second, healthcare and aging population. Robots could reduce costs of elder care, a massive driver of entitlement spending. Again, that's going to be at the expense of the people that do it now, right? The manual labor. Number three, defense and infrastructure. AI could optimize supply chains, reduce waste, and make government operations more efficient, again, at the expense of what? Jobs, right? Tax revenues. Lastly, if AI-driven companies generate outsized profits, government could capture some through taxation. Let me ask you guys this. Not only as we see a shrinking population and more deaths, okay, less births, less people are going to be contributing to the workforce in this country. Meanwhile, we have AI automation coming in full steam ahead. Let me ask this question. It's for everyone's comments, input. It's a rhetorical question. Who's going to buy everything? Let's say you have AI and robots that are more efficient, more productive, can turn out more product, whatever they can do. How are the consumers going to be able to buy the goods produced? Right? They're not, because they're not going to have any jobs. Okay, so we have a ballooning U.S. deficit. And it's not going to get any better. So again, what does the reset look like? Is Musk correct that it's simply unfixable and you're going to have to look to AI and robots to solve this problem? I still don't understand that thesis. Or is it going to be something else? But that was the thumbnail for the video today, that the reset will be worse, okay? Because it's going to be at the expense or the extermination, if you will, of the American worker in this country. So I won't go too long today. I thought that was, and on the heels of what I saw Musk comments, then we get yesterday the release of the actual August numbers, And this is, again, that's net of $30 billion of tariff revenue. Which if that wasn't coming in, it would be $30 billion higher, or more per month. So this is a collision course to a total disaster. And I don't know what the end game is. All right, but maybe our generation will not have to deal with it. Maybe it'll be the next generation after that. I don't know, but I think it's hurling towards a much faster end game than most people think. All right, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks if you like the content, enjoy the content, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel for me, please. Leave your thoughts and comments. With that being said, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.